Hi everyone, Jamie here with Sweet Pickins. Welcome to our home. I'm so glad you're here. So today we are going to be doing a fun DIY. I know guys, we just entered in August, but in my world, August means fall. You can see I have a little pumpkin over my shoulder. I have my little fall lamp and I have a few little tiny pumpkins on my mantle. I have not gotten out my decor yet, but I've always gotten out my decor the week that my kids went back to school. Always have done that. Well, my kids are grown and gone. Two of them are still in school, but they're in college. So I still kind of follow that pattern because kids still go back to school at the same time. So usually the second or third week of August, I always start decorating for fall. Usually the second week, just to be honest. So I love fall, I love the decor, and honestly, in our home, we gravitate more towards the fall colors throughout our home. Neutrals and falls, you won't see usually any super bright colors. So the fall decor just absolutely works in with our everyday decor, and I just absolutely love it. So guys, we're gonna do a really simple, easy DIY today. You guys can do this at home. I'm going to tell you guys a few other ways you can do it. You don't have to follow my lead completely on this. Just give you some ideas. So I've got this little wood riser here, and it's just a block of wood with 4 knobs on the back. So this is awesome because you can make these with any kind of wood, thick or thin. You guys could use like square wood pieces for the legs. You guys could use knobs. You guys could go into the wood section at your craft store and find little pieces that look like candle holders. You can use anything on the bottom of this. You just want it to have a rise so you can see my hand fits underneath here. This is really great to put a candle on, or I actually made one of these to put by our sink, and I keep our hand soap and dish soap in a pump right next to my sink, and I love how that looks. Even though it's wood, I sealed it and it has lasted probably 8 or 9 years. I absolutely love it, and guess what? It even says fall on it, and I still use it because it's perfect and it's fabulous. So you guys can make this. Don't feel intimidated. You could buy these or you can make them. So you're gonna need something like that, as I'm calling a riser. You're going to need a printable. So you can see I already cut out the sides of this. This is a very neutral, like watercolor fall leaves, because I wanted to say fall without screaming fall, and definitely no elements of Halloween in there. So then I grabbed some water and we're going to use this, but you don't have to use this. I grabbed our sander. You're going to need scissors. You're going to need some paint for distressing, and I use Burnt Umber by Apple Barrel. Great color to add some distress details. I use Mod Podge, the yellow label. You're gonna need a foam brush for your Mod Podge and a paintbrush for your Burnt Umber paint. That's it. This is gonna come together super easy. So I've already cut, you can see the pieces here. I already cut the sides of this. I purposely cut this, not a full sheet, just because I don't need all that. So what I'm gonna do is kind of measure how much I need. And then I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna cut it. Now listen, it doesn't have to be perfect because we are gonna add some elements to it to make it look a little more, not perfect, distressed a little bit. So I just rounded out my corners. So let me come in, see how pretty that is? All right, so now what we're gonna do here, I'll just stay close for you guys. So we're gonna take, this is a technique that you guys can use. And remember, I'm using printed paper that I printed an image on. You don't have to do that. You could use fabric, or you could use napkins, or you can find an image, and you could find an everyday image, a Halloween image, Christmas image, fall image, whatever you like. So this is just a basic piece of wood, very, very lightweight. So what I wanna do is I wanna make this, because see, this is perfect on all sides, and I wanna make it unperfect. So the way you do that, I just use my finger and I just dab this in, and I just add a little bit of water to one side. You're gonna wanna work one side at a time. So I layer water here, and then I just take my finger and I just carefully pull some off, because then it gives kind of a little wispy jagged edge. Hopefully you guys can see that. So we're gonna do that to all the sides. However, when you're doing this, you're going to want to only do it one side at a time. And be generous with the water. You can use a paintbrush too. The only thing I see an issue with a paintbrush, people have commented back to me, is it just gets so saturated. You can't control how much you put on a paintbrush as well as you can control it with your fingers. So I feel like you can control it so much better with your fingers than a paintbrush, because a paintbrush will pick up a ton. And then I want my edges to be rounded. So in that case, make sure you pull the edge off, and that will absolutely make it rounded. And there's no rhyme, there's no reason, there's no right, there's no wrong on this. You want it to be a little tattered. You want it to be uneven, just because it's just gonna lay down so good, and it's just gonna look good because it's not perfect. I only go in about 1/4 of an inch with my water because I don't want to lose too much of the image. Okay, so let me show you what this looks like. So see that? You can see all the edges are not perfect now, which absolutely I love. Okay, so we're not going to need that water anymore. We're completely done. I'll throw that extra onto a plant. I like to use a sponge brush. I feel like it doesn't give brush strokes. Some people use brushes to put on their Mod Podge, but then you can actually see the strokes, and I don't care for that because I don't want it to come through the paper like that. So what I like to do is lay some down and then just work it. Just keep working it until it's even. You want it covered and saturated. However, you don't want it goopy and wet and dripping. So I just will put this on and I'll work with it a few times going back and forth, because every time I do that, I pull off excess, and that's exactly what you want. So you can see I've just gone back and forth a few times, and it just pulls up. Now you're gonna wanna make sure you've got these edges. Even though our image is not gonna go to the edges, I still like to seal those edges. And then I'll take my finger to kind of blend them in. Any excess you have on the sides here, this is the time to get them. So I'll just take my finger along here. And if your image does go to the very edge, then this is a critical step for you. Ours isn't going to, but I still want it. So you can see it's all milky. So then you're gonna just figure out, you've got a little bit of wiggle time on this. So you're gonna figure out how you want your image. This is why you want it wet, but not globbing wet, because this will go down really good. And then not just that, it gives you a little bit of time to play. So once you've figured it out, just go through with your fingers. And I just like to go and just make sure the sucker is smooth. Okay, so see how this looks? It's so perfect. I love that. Okay, so what I wanna do now is just kind of get any excess you see on the sides here. And we want this to dry just a tad before we do the distress details. I'm gonna grab a candle because I wanna show you guys what this looks like. Because once we seal it, you're not gonna be able to, I'm not gonna be able to show you guys. But a riser is so fantastic. I have a fall candle here, and yes, I'm already burning it, but look at how pretty this is. So it just adds a little bit of a riser, or like I said, in the kitchen. This is just so, you could use these for so many things. You could put it and have some pumpkins sitting on it, or a little bit of decor. So this is pretty much, because we didn't do it very wet, all this excess, the wood that is exposed, because I wanted to show the wood, that is pretty much dry. So now let's take a little bit of our burnt umber, and I'm just gonna pour a little bit on our paper towel here. And then I have some paint. So what I like to do is dip my brush in and then wipe it off and get the excess off, because I don't want a ton. I just want enough to add distressed details for it to just kind of come together. And so what I like to do is just kind of take my brush, get it on the wood, and get it on the paper. Once I get this done, I'll show you guys what it looks like. So it's not covering everything, because that's not your goal. That's not what you're trying to do. You're not trying to cover it. You're just trying to add a little bit of distressed details and kind of put it together so it tells a story. So it doesn't look like a piece of wood with a piece of paper on the top, right? So just a little bit is all you need. Unless you like that really heavy duty look. And you get one layer down, and then you can go around and add more if needed. So we're just going back over the first part, just kind of seeing if I need to add any more. I tend to be a little more heavy-handed on my corners. And then I just like to take whatever's left on my brush and kind of go over the image. All right, I'm gonna bring it close to you guys so you guys can see it. See the distressed details, and then you could see some of my brush strokes here. See, isn't that pretty? And then I'll show you the risers close up. So you can see these are just little knobs on just a basic piece of wood. And this is an acacia wood, so it's super duper light. So that's it. See how easy that is? So now what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna seal this. You're gonna do the same thing. Make sure you coat it, but don't put too much on here. And ideally, oops, I just spilt it. Ideally, you want the paint to be dry. And honestly, because we dry brushed, the paint's pretty much dry. I would be surprised if it was wet at all, or maybe just a tiny bit tacky. But as long as it's pretty much dry, you're fine. Okay, so you're gonna wanna do the same thing. You're gonna wanna go one direction and then another direction. And make sure you're getting the side sealed good on this, because you want that paper not to lift. And this will take, it's not gonna take a couple hours, but I suggest you wait a couple of hours before you use it. That way you don't rip your paper if something were to get stuck to it. So this is what it looks like. So it's milky right now. And like I said, as soon as it dries, it's gonna dry clear, and you can tell it is completely smooth. So how cute is this? So I'll put a picture of it completed on my stories on Instagram and Facebook. Remember, if you're not following us over there, just type in Sweet Pickens Reno. It's Pickins Reno, and you'll be able to see the finished product on this. Super easy, simple. Guys, you know how many of these you could whip out? You can make them as gifts. You can, anyone that has a new house or a teacher or something simple, or you can make these, you know, for your craft shows or whatever, because it's easy, simple, and I'm telling you, people are gonna like these. And actually, I do have some more of these that I'm gonna be making for my show. So, all right, guys, well, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it so much. Let me get that Mod Podge up, because it is already sticking to that table. It is 99 degrees today, and it feels, the temperature set, it feels like 103. So guess what I'm doing? I'm going out to the pool. If you guys saw my stories, we set up a pool, and it's just so perfect. It's nothing fancy. It's nothing. It's just basic, but man, it was just awesome. So anyway, so I'm gonna go head out to the pool and then start dreaming about fall. And I'm working on a few things. I'm actually working on something I never decided to do until literally last night. I am working on updating my Sweet Pickens logo. My logo was done in 2013, and we released it in 2014 for our grand opening of our retail store that we had for a few years here in Reno. And So I just all of a sudden just kind of got an itch where I think I'm gonna just update it a little. So I've got to see what direction I want to take that in. So I am currently working on that. So I'm gonna go enjoy the beautiful sunshine and the pool and hang out. So guys, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for supporting our small business. Don't forget, like the video, subscribe to our channel because we really definitely need some more subscribers. We have a goal, and everyone that subscribes just really helps towards that ultimate goal. And I'm trying to get some videos, different videos out to you guys on a regular basis. So we appreciate that. Don't forget Instagram and Facebook. And then we have a website, shopsweetpickens.com. There's decorating ideas, and there's a blog, and there's a fun place for you guys to buy all the goodies. So I am gonna start changing over the website this week. That's kind of my thing this week, is to start rolling the website up and doing the little intro and everything to the new and next season, which is fall. So you guys, I know so many people are excited about that. So that's gonna be on our website, shopsweetpickens.com. So guys, thank you so much. I will see you guys on the next video.